Hello, everyone. Cinephile Mike here, and it is day two of Award Season Review Season 3. 97 reviews coming to you in 97 days, counting down to the Oscars, looking at all of the films, well, 97 of the films, bucking for award season recognition in early 2025. For these reviews, as some information changes daily, because some of these movies are still in theaters, I will give you the most up to date within 7 days critical response, box office information, insight into the awards season thus far, my predictions on wins or nods, depending where we are. And as always, most importantly, these reviews are spoiler free. Also, make sure you check out my website, cinephilemike.com, where you can find the ever important, beloved, and informative Where Can I Watch It spreadsheet 2024 edition, where you can track all of the nominated films and, most importantly, find out how you can watch it. This week is Top Box Office Flicks Week. While we don't have any major nods yet, these are the films that I do believe will be in contention for the Golden Globe Awards in the Cinematic and Box Office Achievement category, and possibly elsewhere in award season as we go. Now, this category at the Golden Globes recognizes those films that have achieved a total box office gross of at least $150 million, with at least $100 million coming from the domestic box office and at least $50 million in the international box office. First week films, 7 films, are of the currently 18 films that are eligible at this point. Now, there are some that I'm not going to get to this week that will probably pop up somewhere else because, hey, I do a Razzies week. And also, there are still a few big budget blockbusters still to come. So you don't want to miss out on any of it, so you got to stay with me. But today, currently sitting at the number 2 spot for the year right now, is the team up we have been waiting years for Marvel Studios' Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, according to Box Office Mojo, Deadpool and Wolverine sits with $636,745,858 domestically, $701,154,969 internationally, for a grand total of $1,377,900,827. Written by the team of, and it's a big one, Ryan Reynolds, Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick, Zeb Wells, and the film's director Shawn Levy, they have crafted the tale of what happens when we finally marry the MCU and 20th Century Fox's former CU, as it were. Critically, the third installment in the Deadpool franchise sits a little lower than its predecessors. Based on 410 critical reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, the film sits with a 79%. Interestingly, much higher is the audience response. In fact, based on audience response, this film is the most beloved of the trilogy, with over 25,000 ratings, putting it at a 94% popcorn meter rating. While early on from nominations, it is worth mentioning that the Chinese American Film Festival awarded the threequel as one of the 5 most popular US films in China, and the film's trailer won 3 Golden Trailer Awards, including Best Teaser Trailer, Summer 2024 Blockbuster Trailer, and Best of Show. So, what happens here? It's been 6 years since we've seen Reynolds' Merc with the Mouth Deadpool on screens, and from the opening sequence, he is back with a vengeance to make up for every profane word and death he can fit in before the opening credits end that we haven't had in these 6 years. Since we last saw him, he has tried to join and been rejected by the Avengers, attempted a happy life with Vanessa, played again by Morena Baccarin, which has fallen apart, and he has now resigned himself to just being Wade, wearing a fun toupee and selling cars with Peter, the enjoyable Rob Delaney, whom he saved thanks to Cable's time turner device from the second film, and moved back into a 1 bedroom apartment with Blind Al, again played by Leslie Uggams. At his birthday celebration, he is accosted by the Time Variance Authority, the TVA. Remember them from the Loki series? And is brought to their boss, Mr. Paradox, a delightful Matthew McFadden, who explains that since Wolverine, the anchor being of this world, died, which we saw happen at the end of 2017's Logan, the world strand of the sacred timeline is slowly fading away. And Paradox plans to use a device called the Time Ripper to do it quickly, and offers Wade a chance to live on a different Earth and make a difference, bringing us the trailer's popular line, "I'm Marvel Jesus." However, he realizes that what he needs to do to save his world is bring Wolverine, played for a Guinness World Record making 10th time by Hugh Jackman, hack. Using the tempad he takes from Paradox, Deadpool returns after going to many Wolverines with one that he learns is actually the worst in the whole multiverse. Unhappy with this, Paradox sends both of them to the void at the end of time. Again, these are those Easter eggs from Loki. If you haven't seen Loki season one, you may be a little lost. Once there, Deadpool and Wolverine will engage in verbal and physical sparring as they try to settle their differences and try to find a way to get back and save their respective worlds. On the way, they will encounter Cassandra Nova, played with scenery chewing joy by Emma Corrin, the telepathic twin sister to Charles Xavier, who runs the void while ruling over a series of mutants, some of whom we haven't seen since earlier X Men films, including Aaron Stanford's Pyro and Tyler Maine's Sabretooth. Without spoiling too much, which may be hard because every spoiler appeared online after the film's release in July, but I will end the summary there for the people not really on social media that have been waiting to watch this one. Look, I can honestly say that this film, in many ways, was refreshing Marvel film, but also felt a little bit derivative of the material we've already gotten. Now that Marvel has the chance to play in their full toy box with the return of the X Men, the Fantastic Four, Daredevil, the Punisher, amongst many others, the writing team knew how they wanted to play with this and cram in as much fan service as they possibly could, as well as addressing the disintegration of 20th Century Fox films and the properties that they had ownership of. And it's fun how they incorporate it with the TVA and meld it together. So that's fun. And I have to say, Reynolds never misses a chance to break the fourth wall and remind us of this, even if it's a little gratuitous. And also, it's fun. This is the MCU's first R-rated entry, not the first R-rated Marvel film, but their first entry into this universe, and they push those boundaries as far as possible, even if they have to lay a filter over it, as ultimately, while it's a Marvel film, it's still a Disney film, so there are some explicit, you know, drug and sex jokes that we had in the first two films that are cleverly addressed here, but mainly absent. Also, there's no denying the rapport between Reynolds and Jackman, and when they spar back and forth, especially in the verbal bouts, it's ear candy. It's a delight. And I have to say, Corin as Cassandra Novo, she plays her with this slick villainous appeal that almost makes you wonder, like, is she as evil as she discussed, or is she just disguised someone who actually truly wants to be a confidant? And rounding out the cast, there's a huge laundry list of cameos that did bring a smile to my face in the way some of them were used in all of their meta glory. That being said, many of the film's beats and plot points I feel were just kind of like a mashup that run akin to 2022's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and the Loki TV show, which is a bit disappointing and maybe a little lazy, yet I understand why they did them. However, it just sometimes makes you feel as you're watching it's a little been there, done that, albeit with a little bit more of a comic twist. Visually, the film is fine and on par with what we have come to expect from Marvel. Nothing groundbreaking there in that respect. So, as for any awards chances, I don't really think there'll be any Oscar love for this film. Maybe visual effects, I'm not sure. There's a lot of other stronger contenders this year. Now, this is usually where the comic book films land is the visual effects. The box office achievement could be one. This was the sole Marvel film for the year. However, the HFPA, who runs the Golden Globes, they've shown Reynolds some love in the past, nominating him for Best Actor in a Comedy or Musical, and Deadpool was nominated for Best Picture, Musical, or Comedy. The second one didn't, but this third one is a little more beloved, so could we come full circle and see some Golden Globe love? Possibly. I do think the one lock, and while it's not Oscars, is the SAG Awards. They recognize stunt ensembles. I think, especially just that opening sequence alone, set to Instinct's Bye Bye Bye, could be a contender for Best Stunt Ensemble at the SAG Awards, a nomination at the very least. For me, Deadpool and Wolverine is a solid 4-star film. If you would like to catch this threequel, it is, as of this recording and posting, streaming on Disney Plus. So there you go. 2 down, 95 to go. As always, if you like what you heard here, please click that subscribe button, like the video, and spread the word. You can follow me, Cinephile Mike, on all social media platforms and on Letterboxd. You can also find lots of great additional information, again, on my website, cinephilemike.com. See everyone tomorrow, and until then, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.